After watching last video, many of my friends asked me how to start freelancing, or some people have some questions related to freelancing. So I told them I'll make a video soon. So here it is. I made a video, how to start freelancing. So let's start the video. So these are the things that we're going to discuss in this video. We're going to start with there are few things you need to know before starting freelancing, and we are going to discuss about that and the freelancing principle, and some few popular freelancing platforms, and I will tell you how you can start with Upwork and the beginner strategy of Upwork, and how to get your first client. So we'll start with the first one, things to know before starting freelancing. So there are a few points you need to know before starting freelancing. The first one is you need to find your niche. Choose a niche which really interests you and something you are really passionate about, and choose a skill which you feel you can work on that as a full time for next 5 years. And if you already have one, that's great. If you didn't, no problem. You try new things. Someday in future, you'll definitely find it for sure. So I have a few recommendations. You can try these if you didn't have any niche. So you can try marketing or content writing or design or web development or app development. So these are very in-demand skills, so you can try these things. You will have a great success rate if you go with this. So the next step is you need to evaluate your niche. So you found your niche, that's great, but wait, there are some questions you need to ask yourself. Is there any demand for that skill in the freelance market, or is it sustainable, or how well it aligns with your future goals? If you have some positive answers for these questions, then yeah, great, you can go with that niche. Freelance market works similar to a real life market. If you have a rare skill that's harder to learn, then you have a more valuable skill, so you will have less competition and you can charge more. So you can relate this to supply demand concept. The harder the skill, the scarcer will be its supply, so it will have more value. You need to focus on narrowing your skill. If you narrow down your skill, then your skills become rare. Or if you combine 2 or 3 skills together, then the rarity of your combination actually increases. So these are some of the popular freelancing platforms. We have Fiverr, Upwork, Freelancer, TopTal, Guru, LinkedIn. There are many more, but I'm not going to talk about them in this video. So primarily we are going to focus on the Fiverr, Upwork and Freelancer. These are beginner friendly websites. This is where you need to start. TopTal is for experienced people, experienced freelancers, and Guru, I don't know, I didn't try it, so can't talk anything about it. LinkedIn, this is also for experienced people. Freshers can start, but I don't think it's going to work. The way the LinkedIn works is you need to make cold messages, so it only works for experienced freelancers. So we will see some websites. So this is the home page of Fiverr. In this video I'm going to show you the Fiverr, Upwork and freelancers. I'm going to explain you the basics of how things work on Fiverr, Upwork and freelancer. So we will start with Fiverr. This is the home page. Create an account, and after creating, just sign in. I'll sign in with my account. So yeah, this is how the Fiverr looks like. So in Fiverr, you are a seller, freelancer is a seller. You sell some services, like in this particular case she is selling this service. She will I will proofread and edit your web page and blog content. Actually this is this title is written in a way to make sure that it comes on top of Fiverr. many people will write these things like many people will write a title like I will. If you create a title with I will, then you will have a good rank on Fiverr. Then your services will be shown on top. So you can see many people made their titles like this, look like this. So yeah, now suppose she is selling this service, I will create a social media strategy for your business. So if you have, if this is for people who have this is for influencers, this service actually helps influencers, and we'll take a good thing. Suppose, let's say, so yeah, 1 second, we'll see exactly what he's saying. So he will convert the Photoshop designs or the XD designs, Figma designs to HTML or WordPress. So this is his service, and he is charging 14,000 for his service. So for 14,000 rupees, he is going to deliver one page, a responsive design, and browse. These are normal stuff. So he's going to deliver single page website. We have standard, which is, I think he will deliver more pages. Oh, it's going to have some more revisions. Actually, this looks like a bit expensive for $28,000. For 28,000 rupees, he is designing just a single page. I think he is charging more. Oh, he's giving only single page, but I think, yeah, it is having some slider or scroller. Actually, this is not hard to do, but he's charging like $100 extra just for doing that. So this looks like expensive, but many people, like 9 people actually gave reviews. So yeah, he's able to sell that. Great. So in Fiverr, you have to create a service like how these people did. You can create some sort of you can sell some sort of a skill or your service, and people are going to buy it. So I didn't write Fiverr, but this is how basically Fiverr works. And I think Fiverr has like 20% of 20% commission. So if this is looking like $120, so Fiverr is going to charge them like $24. So he's going to get $95, something like that. You can start with Fiverr. Actually, Fiverr is great for beginners, and many people recommend Fiverr for beginners. If you don't have expertise on any particular skill, or if you are just learning, then go ahead and start with Fiverr. And this Upwork, this is where I actually work. I do freelance, and right now I'm not an active freelancer, but still you need to create an account on Upwork. They will verify your account. It might take like 2 days, I think. After getting verified, you can submit your proposals. So this is the main homepage of Upwork, and these are the projects, and it's very different from Fiverr. So in Fiverr, you are the seller and you will sell your services to clients, and client will buy those services. But in Upwork, what happens is the client will post the jobs, and you have to submit proposals, and after getting accepted, you can work on that proposal, you can work on that job. So I will show an example. I'm opening this proposal. So this is the job that the client posted, and so it's for $6. So this is the job description. We already have the project ready and live. We need someone to add 2 new endpoints to our existing API code. So it's in Django. So the backend is in Django. He's asking us to add 2 API endpoints. So you'll have to edit live code on AWS server. We'll give, so he didn't provided the details of in type of AWS service he is using, whether it's a ECR service, or I mean not ECR, ECS, or EC2. So he didn't give much details, but for $6 this is not worth it. You're going to waste your time. This is not specified well. Okay, I can tell you what is a good job and what is a bad job by just looking at the front page. So I'll tell you. So this is a bad job. We just saw the proposal, but this is also a bad job. This is bad job. One second. This is a bad one, and this might work, and this will work. This will work for sure. This will not work. This will not work. This will not work. This will work for sure, but competition is going to be high, so this is going to work. I think you understood the pattern. So let's take this job. So I opened this job. So this is the title, this is the description, and we can just leave it, no problem. And this is the price, and this is for intermediate people. Entry people can also apply, or expert people can also apply, but still they're suggesting that it's for intermediate people. And project is one-time project because it's a fixed price project, so it's a one-time project. You have two types of projects. One is fixed type and one is hourly. So fixed price projects have a fixed price, the name suggests, and the deadline depends upon you and the client. And on hourly projects, they won't be you will have some deadline, but you will be paid paid hourly. So they both differ a lot. So these are mainly two types of the project. So let's take an example of this one. He's asking us to fix the admin panel. So I read the description and I liked the project, so I just want to take it. So then I can come here and I can just submit a proposal. I don't know why my internet is so slow. So this you will have some profiles. You will know it when you work with Upwork. So for every proposal you need to spend some connects. Right now I have, think, a second, so I have 99 connects available, and I need to spend 2 connects on this project. So small projects will have like 2 connects. If it's a bigger one, it will have like 4 connects. If it's a really bigger one, then then Upwork is going to charge like 6 connects. So expert, everything is good, and I can just mention the rate. So how much you want to charge hourly. So if I want to charge $15 per hour, I can keep it. So remember, if you are really confident that you can do this work, then you can charge more, but there is going to be someone who actually charges less for the same work. So a safer option would be reducing the hourly rate increases your chance of getting the job. So if you are new, if you don't have any previous experience on Upwork, then it's better to start low. I think $15 is very high for a beginner. You need to go for $10 per hour. $10 per hour works great. And so Upwork charges 20%, so you're going to get $8 per hour up to $500. For first $500, Upwork is going to charge like 20%. After $500, Upwork is going to charge 10%. Then after $10,000, Upwork is going to charge 5%. This is the cover letter. You have to write something, and client asked few questions here. Let me show you. So you can see these are the questions that client is asking. So same questions, you have to answer them. And if you want to upload any files, you want to attach any files to this proposal, then you can. After doing that, you can submit the proposal. Once you click the submit proposal button, the proposal is done. You can cancel it, but you won't get your connects back. So be careful while using it. If you use all your connects, then you can't apply for the job. If you want to apply, then you have to buy the connects, or you can. So yeah, here it is. So these are my connects. I have right now 99 connects, so I can apply to few jobs. So if you are starting, then you will have around 20 to 30 connects, so you need to use them very carefully. You can buy connects if you used all the connects, so then you can buy it. I think it's around 50 cents, I think. So 10 connects for $1.5, so like 100 rupees for 10 connects. Just don't want to buy it, so I'm just getting out. So next I'm going to tell you the beginner strategy on Upwork. If you remember, I just told previously, I told this is a bad one, this is a bad one, this is a good one, this is a good one, like that. So how I told that? So it's simple. If you see the payment unverified, try to ignore it as much as you can, and see the location. If it's from a Western country like United States, or from Europe, then the chances of you getting a job are high. He never did any payment on Upwork, and so just don't go for it. Leave it. And this is payment verified, but he spent only $20, so ignore it. Payment verified, $70 plus spent, and he has some reviews. Some freelancer gave some reviews, so you can go for it. But my recommendation is to go for people who spend more than $1,000 at least. Your chance of getting selected will be high. I mean, it's not for selection actually. Some clients put the jobs on Upwork, but they just ignore it. Morning and night, so that time you're going to find many proposals from clients, because US, and for people from Europe, it's the active time, so they're going to post more jobs during that time. So you will find more jobs during morning and night, and you'll find very less jobs during afternoon. So please keep that in mind. So the next thing is how to get your first client. This is the most important thing and the hardest part of freelancing. Getting your first client is hard, really hard. So I think it's better if I show my first proposals. So last month, before I told you, right? So you have to submit proposals for every job. So these were the proposals that I submitted. So last month I submit. So this is the last time that I submitted proposal. Before a month, I submitted one proposal. I don't know why. That client ignored it, and these are few proposals that I submitted 2 months before. How many proposals? 1 2 3 4. I submitted five proposals in last 2 months before. So 3 months before I submitted these proposals, but you can see I didn't got selected into any of these things. Like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Out of 10, I was selected for 0. So sometimes there might be some reasons, like I didn't have a good profile during that time, and I didn't took it that seriously, and my proposals were not that great, or sometimes client just ignore it. They just don't pick out the freelancers. So I'll go for the past proposals. 3. So yeah, this is my first proposal. I got selected for this one. I submitted this like 6 months before. I think it's on December 2020, and this is the during this day I created my Upwork account, So sorry. So this is my first proposal. I was rejected actually. So I submitted two proposals on December 2020 or someday, I didn't remember. So I submitted proposals and I just left. I looked at Upwork next day, but I didn't got reply from these proposals. So I thought it's not for me and it's not going to work. So left the freelancing for next 3 months. I didn't look back at freelancing. But after 3 months, he gave me a reply and he asked me to work on the project. So yeah, that's I mean that's really rare case, and I mean that's like very unreal, but that happened to me. And you can see these are some other proposals that I did, and yeah, this is like almost got done, but it got withdrawn by the client because we had some heated argument. So I just absconded that work. So let's look at this one. So out of how many proposals, like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, out of my first 9 proposals I was selected for 3 proposals, and I was able to successfully complete 2 jobs in that 3 proposals. And we can take a look at this one, the first one which I got selected. So this is the title and this is the job description. One second, I will open it. Okay, this is the job description. So if there is any information related to the client, then I'm just going to blur it. So this is the job description, and these were the skills required, and this is my cover letter. One second, I'll show you. I don't want to show messages because privacy are. So this is my first proposal. I mean, this is my first job that got selected. So this is the title and this is the job description. I will increase the font size so that you can see. So the hourly range, so he asked for like $5 to $10 per hour. That's the first time, that's my first freelancing project, and I didn't had any experience before. And on my Upwork profile I didn't have any live projects or any other thing. So with no experience, with uh, very basic Upwork profile, I submitted this proposal. So I think you read the description, right? So this is the this is my cover letter, and these are the so he asked these questions and I answered them as well. So you might see some grammatical mistakes, but let's just leave it. I think I submitted this proposal at night 10 or 11 p.m. I think. So kind of. So one second, so he said that it's a part-time until we make more hardware sales. Okay, just leave it. So this is a part-time position, and he asked some work related to Django web framework, and he wants some JavaScript experience. So the client hourly range, like comfortable hourly range, is like $5 to $10 per hour. Then I made a proposal for $6.5 per hour. I didn't have any experience, so, and I didn't have any projects to show, so just went for the lowest rate. I think I thought it would work, and it actually worked. So if you are submitting your first proposal, then try to go for the lowest bid, or yeah, try to go for the lowest hourly rate possible. And just read the description carefully and selectively. Don't apply for every job. Select only few, because you only have few connects. So select few particular jobs, save them, and apply for all of them. Apply all of them at once. And yeah, so this is the proposal, right? So this is my cover letter. Hi, thanks for the job invite, it's a pleasure to meet you. I just read this from some blog and I copied and pasted this, so I just changed the name. And I wrote during that time I'm a student, so I'm a student from NIT Raipur, so I mentioned that. and but it doesn't matter which college you belong to, because they're not going to know that college. Actually, Indian colleges are not that popular, right? So they're not going to know that, so it doesn't matter. Just mentioned it. And I'm skilled in programming, graphic design. Okay, just leave it. So this is my answers for the question. So he asked me, do you have any suggestions to make this project run successfully? So I answered him with this thing. So he asked me, do you have any suggestions to make this project run successfully? So I answered him like, from the job, you can relate this to the job description. You can read the job description and you can relate this answer to that description. So by reading the job description, I understood that this is an early stage startup with that's some word sentence. There are some grammatical mistakes, just leave them. I think adopting modern serverless frame architecture helps in reducing huge costs and provides great scalability. First of all, I had some questions about this work and I mentioned them in the next question box. So I think there is a need to answer to build two web applications, one for the product page, yeah, for the e-commerce part of the business, and with authentication, which is more front-end related. Second one is a complex web application with front-end, back-end, and database layers with some IoT related work. Here I didn't mention about the database because we can use Cognito user pool, right, from AWS to do the authentication, or we can use some services like OAuth or Auth0. So I mean, not OAuth, Auth0. So we don't need a database for that. We can use something like Cognito user pool, or so we can do authentication. So yeah, that's what I mean. So for e-commerce part, we can use S3 bucket to host the website. I'm talking about Next.js website. I think yeah, front-end technology in Next.js. I said I'll use Next.js, successor of React.js, and Tailwind for CSS. So Auth0. So I told you before, right? Auth0 for authentication, and Lambda functions, API gateway, and AWS Cognito. So I provided this solution for, he asked me some suggestions and I provided some solutions for his project. Like if you go with the solution, then it's going to be really cheap even on scale. So if you use some services like EC2, then it's going to run all time. Like even if there are no users on this using the site, then still EC2 you get charged for the EC2 instances. So but in this particular case, this is good for startups because you don't have active users all the time. You will have very limited users, and the amount of users you will have on that particular time will actually fluctuate more. So having this type of service actually benefits you from having getting less costs, and so having this type of architecture helps you in avoiding costs during starting. You can scale them up very easily as well. So for IoT interactions, I don't know IoT, so something like that. So there's the question, what questions do you have about the project? Actually, in the job description, he didn't mention anything about the project. So I told him, like, can you tell me something more about this project? What question? So he asked me the next question. So do you have any questions about the project? So about so if you read the job description, he didn't mention much about the project. He's maintaining some privacy. So I told him, could you please tell me more about the project, products and services you're offering, because you didn't mention anything on the web, on the proposal. So I just want to know more about the product. Yes. So there's the question he's asking, why do you think you're a good fit for this particular project? This is a typical HR question which most of the HR asks during a job interview. So I didn't remember what I wrote that day. So I'm also reading this to remember what I wrote. So as a student, I didn't, sorry, grammatical mistake. Full-time industry experience, but I'm very passionate about programming, especially web development. I'm very confident that I can successfully complete this work with my programming skills and knowledge, as I'm skilled in Adobe. I'm selling other skills as well. I said he asked me he made a proposal for Django development, but I am selling him Adobe well, Adobe services as well. So I'm telling him I can take care of many more aspects other than web development. I'm a fast learner and with good problem solving skills. I can pick up new technology quickly. I'm very interested in learning new things. I'm interested in working on early stage startups because I'm so shit. Sorry, I forgot to show the cover letter, right? So this is the cover letter, and this is from the internet. Best regards, Sai Krishna. I just copied from the internet. And this is the last question. You can read it. I'm selling other services as well. So this is my first job proposal, and he contacted me after 3 months. After applying for this job, he contacted me after 3 months. Then after getting this job, I felt that I understood that yeah, freelancing is actually working. You just need to try it. So I submitted a few more proposals. So you can, as you saw, out of 9 proposals, I was able to get 3 proposals, out of which 2 were completed. And in one project we have some heated discussion, so didn't stopped it in middle. So we both wasted our time. So yeah, this is about Upwork. I just told you how you can apply for a job, and how you can filter out various jobs. You have these many jobs, but you need to selectively apply for the jobs. So I told you the process, and I told you about the connects, and I showed you my first job proposal. So the next thing is I just want to tell you a few things, like about Upwork policies. So you might have some fear, like if you do the work, if you so you have completed the work, but what if client didn't pay for that work? So you might have fear, right? Initially I also had that fear, but don't worry. Upwork has a policy where Upwork charges client before submitting proposal. So if client is making a job, if client is posting a job for $250, then Upwork will cut $250 from client account, and it will keep it on hold. It's called something as Eresco, something I didn't remember, but Upwork will hold that money. If you finish the job, then it will be automatic. If you submit the work, then Upwork will directly send that money to your bank account if client approves. If client didn't approve, or if client is going in a if client is saying like he didn't did properly or something like that, you can raise a request on Upwork. You can raise a complaint on Upwork, depending upon your arguments, and you will Upwork decides to whom Upwork should pay. Yeah, so that's about it. And I'll show you how you can withdraw your payment. As I told you, I only applied for a single job from 3 months, so didn't have much earnings right now. So just going to show you whatever available in my account, Upwork account. So you can just click on the payment get paid now button, and you need to enter a password. password. I didn't remember. Oh shit. That is the password. So once I think Upwork takes around so after submitting your work, Upwork will take a week time to reflect that client's money into your Upwork account. And after getting that money in your Upwork account, to withdraw the money to your local bank, so you have to wait for 5 more days. So it's like you have to wait for 12 days in order to get you completely finish the job, and client paid you like $100. But out of $100, Upwork takes 20%, so you'll get $80, and government takes a 0.5% tax. So just remove it. So the $80 gets credited into your Upwork account within a week. It takes like a week, every Wednesday or someday, depends upon your account. So after a week, that money gets reflected into your Upwork account. After that, you have to add bank account details. You have to wait for 2 days, and after getting verified, after your bank account is verified, you can withdraw the account to your local bank account. So here I added my local bank account, and I want to withdraw this amount right now. And if I click it, so okay, this is the exchange rate. So sometimes it will be higher, sometimes it will be lower. Right now it's low, but I just want to show you. So just I'm clicking it right now. So I think I didn't click it properly. So Upwork charges like $1.99 for as a withdrawal fee, and Upwork pays me like $320, and this amount gets reflected after 5 days in my bank account. So totally you have to wait like nearly 2 weeks to get your money into your local bank account. If you are a US citizen, then you're going to get it quick. I think this is not working properly, so I'm just trying it again. Oh, bad internet. Shit. 1 second. So this video took like 1 hour 10 minutes. I prepared notes and a slide for this. It took an entire day for me, to record the video. So it's taking an entire day for me to shoot the video. So first take the notes, prepare a slide, record the video, edit the video, upload it in YouTube. So it's going to take like a day, complete day for making video. So yeah, we got our internet. So still, but so okay, I forgot to tell you about the freelancer, right? I only tried Upwork. You can try those freelancing platforms. Right now I don't have but so you're a beginner, right? So as a beginner you might not have any experience, so you can start with Fiverr is the easiest platform for the beginners, and then comes Upwork and freelancer. Upwork is for like if you have a good skill, then you can go for Upwork. Otherwise, go for Fiverr. It's going to be easier for you as a beginner. So as you can see, I did the payment and it's successful. I will see amount. This amount gets reflected into my bank account within 3 to 5 days. So yeah, let's close it. For this job, less than 5 people applied. Have less than 5 people applied here. 10 to 15, it's between 10 to 15 people, and here it's between 5 to 10. If it's less than 5, then it means it's a more specialized job. The client didn't have good experience, good past record, or client has payment method unverified. So these might be few reasons why very few people applied for that job. If a client has some good payment history, then or some good reviews, then more people are going to apply for that job. So for this project, they mentioned change CSS code for the project. The project budget is $100. Actually, I'm really surprised to see that very few people applied for this job. Generally, any work related to HTML and CSS, you will see like more than 50 proposals at least. Oh, it's posted only 1 hour ago. So you have to, client will wait like up to a day. It can go up more than 50. So actually, if it's a easy HTML CSS project, then you will see more than 50 proposals. It will show like 50 plus. It might be 100 or it might be more than 100. We don't know. So please try to narrow down your skills. So you'll have some better chance of getting that job. You'll have less competition, so you'll have some better chance. Try to apply for jobs where you can see like 5 to 10 or 10 to 15. You'll have some good success rate. So that's it. Thank you. And yeah.